What up? What up? Oh shit! We forgot the applause. Here it is. My bad. I got too anxious, man.
We back.
Hey, so look, you got to come into the scene a little bit, bro. There you go. No Diddy. So, speaking of Diddy, you remember because we was having this conversation about, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, and I'm riding in my car, and I'm just thinking, right? Why is Diddy being raided? You know what I mean? Why are they running up in his crib? Hold on. I got you. Give me a second. Let me finish the thought. Why was Epstein raided? And so many others, right? Now, granted, you know, that sparked a thought, which made me look into. No, I recall you telling me that Diddy's dad was like an informant or something.
His dad was a crook.
Right? He was an informant. Then I also saw somewhere that Diddy was also an informant, right? And Epstein was also an informant. And that got me to thinking, what if the feds raided his house not to find evidence against him, but to cover up evidence that they had him get, that he got on other celebrities, political figures, and so on and so forth?
I believe personally, Diddy snitching, okay? And if you ever seen or been around a federal indictment before, when they raid you, you don't leave the country. That's just bottom line. You don't leave the country, and they know where you at. They know where you at all times. I believe they wasn't raiding him to get to find shit on him. They was raiding him on the people he told on.
But I'm saying,
and because of the image that he has in hip hop and the culture of hip hop, they had to protect his image by making it seem like, you know, they got a case against him. When reality is, they were just there to pick up the evidence, and I believe that Diddy left the country as a form of witness protection.
But the evidence for what? So that it doesn't leak out to
them freak shows that people been talking about.
Right. But is that so that okay, let's rewind back to Epstein, right?
Yeah.
They raided his island, went through all of his shit, raided all his properties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly all they have are flight logs. That's it. Where's all the evidence that they garnered from his house? So did they run in these people's house to cover this up so that it doesn't reach the public? Because maybe they had some type of kill switch. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you take me down, everybody's going down.
Listen, a new world order is a new world order. And for a new world order to take precedence, you got to get rid of the old leadership. And the old leadership is old money. These people from young to old goes to Diddy parties. And everybody knows about Diddy parties. But the thing about it is Diddy kept a file on these guys. Everybody that he was, and you notice last year, he went after a multi-billion-dollar liquor distributor. The people that co-owns his alcohol ventures, the Ciroc, what's it, DeLeon, tequila, things of that nature. He went after them because the bookings were wrong. That's why he wrote in his lawsuit against them, because he was suing them for billions. You know, and
but
I believe that some of those execs, some of those high ranking officials were also probably on camera at Diddy party, getting loose, doing drugs,
right,
messing with women,
right.
And at this point, based off the fact that there's an election coming out, and the fact that they got this, because Diddy does things outrageously. Like if you watch the BET Awards where he was awarded, Diddy made BET not go to commercial. He said, "I'll pay you." Exactly what he said. "I'll pay y'all the money for it, but you ain't going to commercial. I got something to say." when Kanye was on stage with him as well, presenting him the award. He's too erratic for them not to get their hands on this information. They ain't got nothing on him, but they just want to know what he got on others. And not only that, you don't even know what he left the country with.
Right. But that's the thing. He could be working with the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that, I mean, think about politics, right? Think about the bullshit that's being passed right now. That if you poll Americans, 90% of us ain't with none of this bullshit. Like we just signed a $95 billion what do you call it?
Humanitarian package for the
Ukraine,
yeah,
and for Israel to support them in their causes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ask most Americans, we ain't with that. That money could be well spent here. You know what I mean? So you gotta think, which leads you to think that these politicians are not making bills or passing laws in favor of the people that put them in office.
I tell you honestly, when you have Democrats in office, they're not the business owners of in America. The Republicans are. That's why they focus on all these international events and things that happens in other countries, because they're trying to, like any business person would try to do, they're trying to make new money, because they don't make money unless we do it for them. The Democrat depend on the citizens to make their money. They don't, like, as far as like Republicans go, they are with big business, so they're more in the self-sovereign and state ruled situations more than they are with the federal government having an impact. And that's what most Republicans are. I mean, and especially in power, as far as like the Senate, the Congress goes, and things of that nature. They're normally business owners, not just business owners, but multi-millionaire business owners. Like even with Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney owned the weapons company, where he was not weapons, but things to do with self-defense, from flak jackets to rifles and things of that nature. A lot of the stuff that we used in Iraq was from his company.
Well, Halliburton.
Mm-hmm. He don't own it, but he has a lot of stock in it.
What were you about to say, Cub?
Nah, nothing in particular, man. Just the whole thing with the Democrats and the Republicans. I kind of disagree with that, as far as the Democrats being more business-like. I found it to be the opposite. Even now, the Orange Man, I know when he was in office, man, a lot of people would agree that small businesses in this country were a lot better off than they are now. You know,
Well,
I can't subscribe to the ideology that Democrats are for the people and Republicans are for the business, because that's what capitalism. I mean, capitalism basically dictates that you work, you get you get it going, you get it popping, and then you go from there. But I don't know. I don't want to get too deep down that wormhole, man. But yeah, I don't. It's
But check this out. So after going through that rabbit hole, it got me thinking about this too. What if it's all a game? It's all a show? There is no Republican or Democrat. What if it's all an illusion? You know what I mean? What if behind closed doors,
they all
these people on the same team, right, carrying out one agenda and just wording it differently?
That could very well be the case. But the thing is this: how many times does history have to show us that this is not like a quote unquote conspiracy theory? This is a real life actual possibility. You look at history, and history tells us that these things are more than possible. You look at all the countries, who are like, I guess you would consider them socialist countries, and it's like, look at what's happening here in America. We are in the middle of a severe wealth transfer. Like, look at what COVID did. Not to the big businesses. Not to the businesses we all know and we see commercials for. Not them. Look at what COVID did to the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. Look at what COVID did to the middle class. And how can you not look at that and not, at least scratch your head?
100%.
But we as people, we're too busy worried about, Gucci and Louis, and we're supposed to be struggling. Meanwhile, what's the guy's name? The luxury brand owner, Bernard Arnault, the guy who owns like Louis Vuitton and all that.
Everything.
Who owns all of that crap. Meanwhile, he's at the peak of his wealth. At what point do we say, hey, our priorities are just effed up?
So, and I agree with you 100%. There are a lot of distractions that keep us from keep us from trying to peek behind the veil.
Yeah.
Right? So apparently I'm not the only one who thinks like this. And this was just me thinking and looking around. If you saw in the news recently, outside of a Trump event or rally or building, whatever it was.
I think it was one of his court hearings.
One of his court hearings. There it is. This dude who is a research journalist has been researching these things for the last 15 years. And he kind of came to the same conclusion that it's all a ruse, right?
Yeah.
He set himself on fire in protest, not in protest of Donald Trump criminal charges, but in protest of the system altogether. Matter of fact, I got one of his last videos. If y'all don't mind, let me take a minute to play it.
Hey, before you play that, man, I just want to point out the fact too that be careful. Anyone should pay attention to how quick people were to basically accuse this man of being a Trump supporter trying to disrupt the proceedings. And now as the information is coming out, the story is dying. Be very wary of the media.
How convenient.
Yeah.
Think about even the Trump, his whole prosecution to me is outlandish, to be honest with you. What happened with Trump is Trump did the switcheroo on everybody. When what he was doing to get elected, he's a businessman, so he knew how to create propaganda. He knew how to get people. As long as you're talking about him, you're good. That's all promotion is good promotion. So he did all that, and he came off radical right as he was running for it. But if you actually follow his decision making while he was in office,
his policy,
it was very left wingish.
Not even that. He was in the middle.
Huh?
I wouldn't even say left wingish. I would say he was more in the middle.
They got a pretty much. You ever heard of a pH scale?
A what?
But a pH scale where they test water from a certain position, make drinkable water, and they got acid, and then whatever. They got the same. They got the same thing for political decisions made by the president. It's and it goes from left to right, and it says neutral. He actually, based off the scale, a lot of his decisions was left wingish, based off of how they describe who's it for, how it's going to impact, and things of that nature, based off of how they think the right wing based off the left wing, and then you got the neutral. The neutral is where a lot of
let me interject for 1 second.
Okay.
You're missing what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the divisiveness whenever you get to this side versus that side.
That's what I'm saying. But is he actually? I don't think he's in that. I don't think he's in that that inner circle.
What if he is?
I don't think so.
He's a good actor.
I feel like I've realized and I feel like personally that's the reason why he didn't go along to get along. Every president when they get in office, they go along.
I agree with that.
With that, he's the only president that went against only his political party, his own political party.
Yeah.
He has his own people going up against him, but he also had people on the outside, on the other side going against him.
He didn't bend the knee.
Yeah.
He didn't bend the knee.
You ever watch a movie, right? Let's say somebody's playing the character of a gangster.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And this dude was a terrible fucking actor. He's like, I just don't believe this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't fucking believe him. And that makes the movie whack. It's not as good. You know what I'm saying? What if Trump is just a better actor, bro? And he's really selling the role and playing up the role, and it's all part of the game to distract. Bro, think about it. We don't even know who's running for president this year. This is a damn election year, and you haven't seen the media flooded with any advertisement yet. You know what I'm saying? Instead, we're getting all these distractions. We don't know what people are standing for, what a policy that they claim that they want to pass, whatever. But anyway, we'll go down this rabbit hole in a second.
Yeah.
Let's check out what the dude who set himself on fire said real quick.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, no sound. Let me fix that.
Oh.
I did 1,500 hours of research, and I learned all their rotten secrets. The big one is that cryptocurrency is history's first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. That's an economic doomsday device. And when that Ponzi goes insolvent, as all Ponzi's
Oh, yeah,
must,
guys.
we'll get the worst economic collapse in world history. And every powerful person you can think of is in on it. Want to know why everything gets worse and more expensive? That's because we live in a secret kleptocracy. That's when government gets taken over by con artists whose only job is to steal from the public. And I hope you know this is wonderful news, because now that the public knows about the secret kleptocracy, they get to abolish their criminal government. Follow for more, or read this booklet, and you will bend history.
So this guy has a whole manifesto that's online, right? If you, for the audience, if you just go to his page, rewind it, and look back at the Instagram page, is dipshit something. That's his Instagram, and that has links to his manifestos of his research and his findings and whatnot. You know what I mean? But think about that. Our politicians are getting rich. How in the fuck is Nancy Pelosi worth $250 million off her salary?
Inside trading.
You know what I mean? You think she's the only one?
Yeah, they're all doing it.
No.
So you're a multi-billion-dollar company, or let's say you have close to $1 trillion evaluation of your company, right? And there's some laws that you need passed so that you can make more money and more profit. All right? What do?
You go pay a politician to pass the you gotta start the ground floor. What they call the ground floor with the people that
You gotta get the lobbyists.
Yeah, the lobbyists, and then they do your dirty work for you. Then they go take their little funding that they got, and they say, hey, senator, hey, congressman, hey, here's 3 million, here's 4 million. Go get your buddies, to agree on this when it hits the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care what it sounds like, but you're going to hit it. And if you need to, you can dress it up a little bit to make sure it gets passed. But we need this passed, like Netflix. Netflix made $800 something billion. $800 million. It didn't pay a dime in taxes.
Or what they do is they let them know of upcoming events for insider trading, so that it all looks legit.
Like I was saying before.
Well, that's Pelosi's game.
I put you on this while the stock is hella low, but we know we about to balloon this bitch. We about to balloon this. You go take this 3 million, buy 3 million worth of stock. Then when we open the market, because we know it's about to balloon, you're already going to have it at the low. So when you open the market, what happens with your stock? It rises. So that $3 million investment might become 50, 60 million based off the price. Like it might go from being, what is it? Let's say it's at $4 a share. But when they open up to the public, it might jump up to $24 a share. Guess what? That 3 million then became 80, then became what? 70, 76 million overnight.
All for what cause? To control the politician, to vote in the way that they want them to, right? Which enriches them and takes wealth away from the public,
common man.
From the common man. Which again, which goes to my point. What if it's all a game? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's that's in Congress is a part of the same team.
Because what are we doing? What are we doing prosecuting 80-year-old men? Like, what do you get out of that? Like the bill from Bill Cosby to Donald Trump. These guys are 80-something years old and they got money. So all you're doing at this point is wasting public funds for the situation. Even with OJ, when they prosecute OJ, you know how much the city of LA made? $120 million for a trial.
Now, how did they make that? How did they make money?
Then they shot OJ.
He said, "How they make that?"
Due to the fact that everybody's coming in the country to get their to get their information. People want to be live.
So they made that money just basically from like tourism based around the OJ trial.
Yes, and when they had to pay the bill, what did they do? They shot at the OJ and told him that he was liable for a case that he wasn't convicted of. So they get in a civil case and then they shoot OJ the bill. Oh, you're gonna pay this $33 million or whatever the case may be. We're gonna get it from you either in the short run or the long run. But here's the bill. And the one thing about a civil trial is you can't put that on a bankruptcy.
You know what I would like to know? I would like to know what was going on politically during that trial. What was secretly and privately being passed while that was getting so much publicity?
One, our president was getting topped under the table, for one. So that helped keep that down. That's when the first the first information of it came out back in 1994. I think they went through the process in '96 as far as like doing the impeachment of Bill Clinton. Was it 96 when they did the impeachment?
I don't remember.
Where they started the impeachment trial or whatever. It happened during his second term. There's a lot of stuff that was going on, and it was too much big business money that was involved in. The same thing that's going on right now. We blame somebody for a situation that he had no control over, because when a nation goes into a state of emergency, who's in charge? FEMA. FEMA makes all the decisions. A lot of people don't know that. When we go into a state of emergency, FEMA, like, that's the reason why FEMA was in charge of Katrina.
Hold on, bro. You're hard to follow.
That's basically what I'm saying. Your circle,
right? I'm saying
your inside circle.
I know. I feel you, but we had to kind of encapsulate it in a way that the audience
anytime something goes down, they look for a fall guy. Somebody that's greatly popular, that would take their attention off of what's really going on.
Distractions.
From the Bill Cosby's to the Donald Trumps to the now P. Diddy's to the OJs. People, OJ's at one point in his career. I'm not talking about the OJ case. I'm telling you what he said out of his actual mouth. He said, "I'm not black. I'm OJ." OJ was loved by blacks and whites before that situation happened, and it was a big enough distraction to take away from a lot of stuff that was going on, from Israel to the fact that we wasted a whole lot of money going over here to this fucking Desert Storm situation, and we didn't accomplish anything. It was a distraction, and it allowed a and not only that, I think it was a case study for what we're doing right now.
All right, so it's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of this shit, and it's impossible to put it all in one show, right? But what's your last thoughts on my little conspiracy theory I was thinking of, that everything's all tied together? I start with you, cuz.
You know, at the end of the day, who knows? Who knows? But I feel like the evidence is there, because you have certain there are certain things that take place that you can't ignore. You know, my mama used to tell me, she said, "Boy, I don't know everything, and you won't know everything. But when in doubt, follow the money."
Mm-hmm.
That'll start you on the right path. Or at least start leading you down the right road. And when you do that, and you combine that with people who know their history, you know, it's not hard to understand why people are very skeptical of our government and, you know, their motives. Because whether you like it or not, once you go back and you look through history and you understand and you accept the fact that tyranny is the norm. Tyranny is the norm throughout history. Go back and look at that. Whether it be a monarchy, feudal system, whatever you want to call it, tyranny is the norm. What we're living in right now is not the norm. Like, we should just be more protective of it and ask more questions and be more suspicious of everything that conflicts with our freedoms and, you know, our ability to live our lives where we want to. So, you know, be suspicious, ask questions, and if they can't hold up to those questioning, you know, that should trigger a red flag.
Word.
I mean, I like how you started out. Who knows? We know, just we can't prove. We know what's really going on. It's just, can we prove it? And if you do try to prove it, they kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll take you out. We still don't. Do you believe how a man hangs himself in a cell, a federal cell at that, when he already thought he was going to be suicidal?
Where are the pictures? Did he really hang himself?
Did he just change his identity and go to another country? Because it's too many what ifs for you to just take something blindly. But that's what our age is. When somebody force feeds you information, this is what happens in Iraq, by the way. And this is when I realized this is what's going on in the States. The Muslims don't research Islam. As far as, like, they don't read the Quran. The Quran is read to them. The interpretation of the Quran is read to them. They are forced to believe what they believe based off of somebody else's interpretation of it. And that's exactly what goes on in America now. Nobody research anything because the news tells you everything. Up-to-date minutes, TMZ. So when it happens, you have somebody else telling you, and you believe it blindly as if it's the truth. And so now you're working on an uphill battle trying to prove yourself right, because we're putting all this information out here. Like for instance, when Dave Chappelle turned down the $50 million. In a month's time, everybody thought he was smoking crack. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They control. When you control the narrative, you can do whatever you want to do, because there's not going to be enough people to matter to dispute it, because I have the upper hand. I'm giving them information. If a person is going to go on trial, why are you giving out information to the public about the trial outside of his charges? They're giving you too much information because they want to make sure that it's a lopsided battle when the battle starts. And that's how they control the hearts and minds. Make it seem like we're fighting for you by giving you this information, but in reality, we're just controlling how you think about it.
Yeah, they want to control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I would say all this could be bullshit. It could just be in the figments of our imagination. You know what I mean?
So.
However, I look at the history of melanated people in this country and how, while things are going on, they denied it and then later on they'll come out and say that it was true, right? The Tuskegee Airmen, syphilis, COINTELPRO, where they took out all black leaders and stuff. At the time, they were painted as devils in the media, right? But then later on, they come back and say, well, yeah, that was our thing. We did that. We took them out. So what? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So part of the reason why these
Malcolm and Martin,
why these conspiracies are even able to live is because of the secrecy of the government and how they cover things up, and they just blatantly lie about shit
in your face.
In your face, and then come back and tell you 50 years later, yeah, we did it, so what? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys, when I say you guys, the government want to put all this shit to rest, just put all of it to bed, be more transparent in your actions, and let us know what's really going on, right? So that we can have a good decision and real information on who to vote for in the way that we want this country to go.
But look at the stuff they're doing. Can they really be transparent?
Exactly. 100%. And one last thing before we end this joint. Here's something else I thought about. TikTok. I used to hate TikTok. I ain't gonna front. I hated it, right? I felt like it was making me dumber just watching it, right? I felt like it was making my children dumber, which is why I never let them use it. I feel like it made people stupid in general just because of the short clips and the constant dopamine effect from every 30 seconds you get a new clip, right? And then it kept feeding me nothing but booty, right? But I found something beneath that, right? So once I start telling TikTok, I don't like this, don't show me this, I don't like this, don't show me this, it started showing me other things. You know what I mean? And one thing that I found on TikTok is like what YouTube used to be back in the day, before all the money got involved, right?
Wow.
Back in the day, you would have alternative ideas and alternative thoughts,
Yeah.
right? And alternative facts presented to give you different perspective of world events and local events and things that's going on. And in TikTok, you get a whole lot of that and a lot of different perspectives, which then gives you a great opportunity to use some critical thinking and make up your own mind. And I feel like that's part of why those in power want TikTok to be banned.
Or the ban. Yep.
Secondly, I also noticed, because I got caught up in this, I'm looking at TikTok, looking at it, swiping. Then I see some cool shit, some cool advertisement. I'm like, damn, that's dope. You know what? Buy. You know what I mean? Swiping. Damn, I need one of those. Buy, right? And then I realized after about a week, you know what? I haven't even looked at my Amazon, right? And I thought, how many other people is this affecting the same way? Well, they're not even going to the Amazon. Now they're going to TikTok to make purchases because it's cheaper, right? And the advertising looks cool, right?
Yeah.
So that led me to think that big money or big business, big tech, doesn't like the influence of TikTok and is taking away profit share from them, which in turn made them lobby to get TikTok banned. So I think between those two things is the reason why this bill was just recently passed to ban TikTok. What's y'all thoughts on it?
Oh, anything they can't control, they're gonna ban it. If I can't control it, they try to do the same thing with Apple. Then when they try to do the backdooring, that's what they call it, pause, no diddy. But when they try to do that or whatever, in which the feds can always be able to go into your phone, even if you have locks on it. The first one who bucked was Apple. They said we ain't doing that. That's one of the features that makes our phones elite or whatever. And so they tried to ban Apple phones from being sold in America until Apple told them that we'll take all our businesses overseas, and you won't get no money off the taxes whatsoever. And so they bucked and they allowed them to keep it. But with most other phones, you can still do the CIA and the FBI can still do that. if you don't do what they say and you don't have power to do it, to buck, they will ban you. It's a cancel culture now. They cancel anything that goes against the grain. Anybody that when I see people get canceled, I automatically think, what happened behind closed doors? Who did you piss off? You know what I'm saying? Why are they spreading this message? The same way that happened with the girl that was on Mad TV and the comedian. Remember that situation where they brought something up from like 20 years ago, a skit that they did on Mad TV? I want to say it's Ari Spears and the girl that was in that black woman comedy movie that came out a while ago, Girls Trip. I forget her name.
About Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah, they brought out something that happened. I saw when it first aired. I said, "Oh, this is some fucked up ass shit."
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Because they had kids in there, and it was like,
Oh yeah. I saw that joke.
But
yeah, that was wild.
my thing is this: how did that even become their issue when one, they have a parent company called Fox, multi-$100 billion company. You get what I'm saying? Before anything goes on national television, especially national broadcast television, ABC, NBC, Fox, things of that nature, there's a series of things that happens of people checking and make sure that it's appropriate, or if it's not appropriate, can we get away with this? And then 20 years later, you blame the worker, but not the boss who allowed this garbage to come out on their network. And that's what we do. We'll slander, like anything you do now can be slandered against you no matter what you've done in life. And that's how they cancel people. That's how they ban people.
That's some wild shit. What's your thoughts, cuz?
Nah, he hit the nail on the head with that, my man. Cause I just want to leave y'all with this, man. For everybody who hollers conspiracy theorists, or oh, I'm sure there's somebody who might come across this video and say, well, you know, these dudes ain't got nothing to do. They crazy, whatever. They done fell down. They done fell down a wormhole. I always, like, when I'm talking to people, man, I always like to start off with these two. Like, if you think we're crazy, if you think that conspiracy theorists are just like nut jobs, first of all, keep in mind, the term conspiracy theorist, do you know when that became a term in popular culture? Anyone of y'all know?
Nope.
After JFK got killed.
Ah, interesting.
And the people were talking about the different angles and all the inaccuracies and all the things that weren't lining up. Those were the people who were labeled conspiracy theorists.
So in reality, CIA made it up then.
So keep that in mind when you know, before you doubt. And also, if you ever get bored, these are the two I'll always bring up. Although there's plenty more. Go on Wikipedia, look up Operation Northwoods, and see how that relates to the conspiracy theories involving 9/11. And then look up, I want to say it's Operation Paperclip. I might be wrong about that. I get them mixed up sometimes. But look up Mohammed Mossadegh. And then you ask yourself about our relationship with the Middle East. It'll blow your mind.
With that said, I think we've already said too much.
I always say before you call somebody a conspiracy theorist, have you done any research to combat what they said? If you haven't done any research, if your only research is what somebody told you, and you're using what somebody else is telling you based off of research that you actually done, you can't call them a conspiracy theorist. You can just, only thing you can say is that I'm not informed enough to make a judgment on what you're saying, right or wrong.
Hey, I want to be able to sleep good tonight, so this conversation getting scary.
Yeah,
let's get up out of here. Hey, what y'all think? Hey, comment down below. Peace.
Peace.